A new documentary is on the way, Death Bridge, by Kevin Hines and Zach Williams.
So this has been a documentary I've wanted to make since 2010. And I made an effort to make it back then, but specific circumstances made it out of my grasp.
The film explores the ripple effect of suicide at the Golden Gate Bridge.
My birth parents, I'm adopted, had manic depression, what we call bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed at 17. At 19, I began to think of taking my life. On September 25th, I went out to the Golden Gate to do just that. And of course, I jumped off. But by the grace of God, I survived. And there were several miracles that came into play to save my life that day. One of them being a sea lion keeping me afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me. Next, the Coast Guard gets there, hoists me onto a flat board, and puts me in a neck brace, and secondarily saves my life. Next, I get to the hospital, one of the foremost back surgeons in the world who's in this film, and so is the Coast Guard officer who saved me. The surgeons got in there and did a 10.5-hour back surgery to save me the ability to stand, walk, and run. I shattered 3 vertebrae. I missed severing my spinal cord by 2 millimeters. I'm so blessed to be here.
Zach Williams, son of the late Robin Williams, also shares personal reflections about his father and mental health awareness.
My father dying by suicide catalyzed a mental health journey in me, in which I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and depression. And I found healing through service, committing to mental health advocacy, and it was my path to finding happiness. I'm still managing that process, but foundationally, I advocate for resilience, healthy lifestyle around nutrition, fitness, mindfulness, community support, things like that, that when they're activated, help you find a healthy, resilient foundation so you can be of service, right? And so I find that advocacy journey is one of continuous service to promote my personal healing from the trauma. He was not only my father, but one of my best friends. And so we would spend so much time together. And I have essentially nothing but positive memories around the time we spent together. And, he was a wonderful human being too. But he's also very curious. Yeah, great actor, but also very curious and playful. And that's where we connected, and that he loved playing video games and collecting toys. And, if you're a kid growing up, that's really spectacular that you get to have such a playful parent.
At its core, the documentary promotes hope and highlights how limiting access to lethal means can help save lives, especially through the bridge's new suicide prevention safety net.
You're going to see survivors of those who have been lost at the bridge. You're going to see the people that work at the bridge every day and what they experience and the pain they experience in seeing the tragedy that occurs there, certainly the Coast Guard. You're going to see individuals who have gone to the bridge to take their lives, but by miraculous circumstance, something interrupted them and got them to safety. And you're going to learn the history of the Golden Gate Bridge District, which Zach can really speak to, and you're going to learn the history of all of the different fights since 1937 to raise the rail that nobody talks about. 60 years people tried to change this, then 70, then 80, then 90. So many years, so many decades of trying to change. And here we are with it in place and the suicides reduced. So yes, we know the end game is here. We understand that. But that doesn't make the film any less interesting.
Death Bridge is set to be released later this year.